evening, good morning, good afternoon. I am all cozy. Here it is a little bit late. Usually I try to go live early. It is 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on February the 27th. But I could not resist but have to come on live today because I have some interesting updates. I have some good news today. I want to share a story, but also I want to share a thought, a perspective on a situation. And today we are going to be talking about the only time when it is worth of your effort and consideration to give a second chance in love. Basically, to give a second chance to relationships that perhaps didn't work so well the first time. Perhaps you separated, but you did not separated on a bad note. There was no abuse, no offensive words. There was nothing hurtful, nothing physically or emotionally abusive. Once again, it was just some reason. Um, maybe you were not ready. Maybe you had certain outside circumstance such as distance, work, war, I don't know, something like that. And then you realize that maybe you should have not given up on that relationship, and maybe you made a mistake. You realizing this every day more and more. So we are going to talk about this today. Please take it with a grain of salt because any situation, every situation is very unique. Usually, I'm adamant about not giving second chance to absolutely anything because I believe that people don't give up on people that they love truly. But we are living in a very complex time um, in many ways. For those of you who are watching me for Slavic advice, maybe the war had separated you with your loved one, maybe the distance, the circumstance. So that's why I would like to share today. I got a very inspiring email from a client of mine, and so I just absolutely have to share this. Maybe I will save this video on my Patreon. I don't know yet, but I've learned that sometimes you just have to do something right away. So when when is the time that it makes sense to give your relationship another try? Maybe you've separated, maybe you uh, end things, but the more time had passed, the more you realize that probably you made a mistake. Probably you should have tried, you should have made this work. So that leads me to the first point is when enough of time had passed. You're not under your emotions, you're not reaching out to the other person because you are lonely or you haven't met anybody better, and that's why you're reaching out. That's the worst when somebody's reaching out to you because they haven't meet somebody better, or they're lonely. This is not a reason to reconnect. It's not a reason to start over. I think it's quite the opposite. When your feelings had come down, when you can feel, you can look at your relationship, at your connection through a perspective. When you cooled off, you cooled down, and you look at it almost as a third person in a way, but also you had time to realize what things you could have done better, what things are really your responsibility. It's not about guilt, it's not about blame. It's about just looking at it in a perspective and realize where you didn't pay enough of attention, where you were too selfish, too ego driven, too insecure. We all have all these luggages of things. Only time, very often, it is only time. You need time to see things when you no longer hit it up. You might still love that person, You actually may have developed deeper feelings for that person because you calm down. You are no longer under influence of your hormones, your emotions, your ego, and other things. But you can clearly see that that person was actually somebody very, very special because you aligned on so many things. You have so many things in common. Maybe you have maybe you have future plans in common. You get along without explanations. Um, you have that something that is very rare to find. Sometimes you can't even define what it is, but you know good and well. Maybe you can find a woman, for example, that is attractive or better, whatever you can call it. Maybe you can find a woman. You can always find, for ladies, you can always find somebody more wealthy, but you don't know about their character. You don't know who they are on the inside. For men, you can always find somebody, as you say, hotter and younger, but you don't know who they are and how well, if at all, they would connect with you. So it's all very complex at times, but the question to ask yourself, I really do feel that only the person that lived through experience knows when you met your person and maybe your emotions, your frustrations had clouded your thinking and you gave up. But you know that that person has that something that, yes, you possibly could meet somebody else, but it's not about that. You know that that person has that something that is once in a lifetime for you. For you personally, that's once in a lifetime. And also, you realize that you barely tapped on who they truly are, that you were so overclouded with jealousy, with comparison, whatever crap was in your head at that time. But now, from the perspective, you see that we're talking about, obviously men and women, but right now, from a man's perspective, you look and you realize that that woman, not only you were attracted to her and you felt pleasure just being around her, but you connected on so many levels that if one were to fall off a little bit, or maybe fade, as passion and desire for another person can sometimes slow down a little bit with time. But there are so many other things that connect you, so many, even the way, maybe the way she's raising children, maybe the effort she puts in things, maybe it even annoyed you back then, but now you look at it from a perspective and you realize, oh my gosh, she didn't have enough of time for us to date. But now I realize, for example, right, I realize she didn't have that much time because she didn't want to spend her time on the phone. She wanted to spend time with her son or daughter. She is the woman that's taking true care of her children, or maybe of her elderly mother. Or, you realize that some things that you were offended, maybe the woman that disappointed you back then, you now look at it and you realize that, oh, she actually was doing something and I was so selfish, I didn't realize how much she was doing. Maybe she's a business owner, maybe she's a teacher, maybe whatever, but only now from a perspective. And yes, maybe from going on some other dates and just looking at this world, you realize that you won a lottery and you overlooked it, and you as a man have the courage to admit your responsibilities, that you screw it up. You had the chance, you had a rare person that you met. And it's not to blame yourself, but just to realize that uh, maybe you just were not ready, maybe you hadn't recovered from your previous relationships, uh, or something like that. But as a man, as a leader of your own life, you realize that you messed up and she was the one that got away. She was the one, the special one. You looked at her imperfections with a magnifying glass and got emotional about it. You got once again in your uh, mode. And now, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, a year later, you look at it and you wish you could do anything to be with her. But you don't know, maybe she's with somebody else, maybe this, maybe that. And so it's really interesting because I received in last week or so, I received two letters. One, that exact this story and situations that I'm going to be sharing. And another one is somebody asking me whether they share their story and they ask whether they should have a second chance at that relationship. So I'm gonna start from the second one. I think that absolutely you should always give it a shot. You don't know how that other person feel. Maybe they moved on, and well, you have to cut your losses and move on as well. But there is always a chance that that person as well still has you on their mind. But if you're dating Slavic women or any other feminine women, usually they will not reach out and they will not initiate. You have to understand that. Usually they won't reach out and they will not initiate because they want you to make a first move. In our culture, in Slavic culture, we rarely reach to men. It's actually a very often sign of some kind of scam when a woman reach out to men. It's very rare. Maybe she's just very young or have really low self-esteem. Generally, we really want things to be man's initiative, and it makes us feel, excited and real. And we don't want to reach out to a man and then think that the only reason why he responded is because we reached out. We want that to be result of his thought process, that he realized something, he wants to make things better. And the stronger, the more masculine the man is, the least he is blaming the woman. Even it takes two. When things go south a little bit, it usually takes two. But the more masculine the man is, the more responsible he is, the more he is of a solid character, the least he blames the woman. The more he realizes what his responsibility is. And so, yes, to answer to my email, the second one I mentioned, I want to say that if you have doubts, if you really cannot stop thinking and you realize that enough time had passed and you made a mistake, you couldn't handle, or for whatever reason you got overwhelmed, you regretting it now, absolutely you should give it a chance. When it's too late, it's too late when you are no longer breathing. It's too late maybe when you are in a nursing home. I mean, you can still hit on some nurses at the nursing home. You can still try it, but I would say it's only too late when your heart stops beating. Then it's really too late. You absolutely have to reach out, but you should be ready for rejection. You should be ready that the person moved on. You should be ready for no answer, but you absolutely should have reached out, and you should be very genuine and very honest. Don't reach out with the phrases, "Hey, missing you," or "What's up?" If you're shallow like this, the woman would ignore you, and I support you wholeheartedly. If you reach out, make it meaningful. Ask for if they, if you can have possibly could have a conversation. If the person moved on, maybe they're in a committed relationship with somewhere else, they'll let you know, and you can go on your merry way. The reason I'm sharing this is because the story I have from a client of mine, which of course want to be anonymous, but he told me that I can share in general. He told me that the whole year had passed till he realized that the lady, we're gonna call her Katerina, that she was truly special in so many ways. And one of the most important ones, that she was ready to adjust to his lifestyle. Um, he travels internationally a lot, and she was one of the very few women that didn't have a problem with it, didn't have to have a lot of friends, was really excited to be a home wife, even though they travel a lot, but let's say still being at home with children. That was actually her dream. And also, they looked at things very similar, on things like he's a frugal guy, but he's heavily into investments. And she loves that kind of thing. She loves investing, she's very thoughtful. Um, they just aligned on all those important things, practical things. And in terms of attraction, that's never was a problem. They were chemistry was there from the day one. That's what I remember. But what happened is they had a few conflicts, which is very normal for people that come from different countries, have a different mentality, but also I would say for everybody who switches from uh, the just courting dating to closer contact, it's absolutely normal and natural that you are going to have conflicts. I think that conflicts are happening when you are honest about your feelings. A lot of times people hold things in, they suppress their emotions, they have a lot of resentment, but they're afraid to have a conflict. And me personally, I think that conflict is not a bad thing. Well, especially when we can be honest, but be respectful as much as it's possible to share the true feelings. I think that conflict is inevitable, and I, for what I remember in this particular couples, they did have a few, and one thing led to another, and they just kind of stopped communication. So my client had the courage to reach out. And this is so fascinating because the lady, Katerina, as we said, she was already engaged to another man. And she told him later that the whole entire engagement that she was engaged to him, she knew that this other man was wrong for her. She didn't he wasn't as masculine as this. It's very important for feminine women to have a man who takes decisions, who have solid character, who is reliable. And she told him later on that with every step she was thinking about him and how he would handle the situation and how he would do it. And I don't remember right now whether he reached out right after um, she canceled the engagement or right before it, but it wasn't working out. Although on the side it looked like she was doing well, she was moving on, but in her heart, she was not. She was rejecting this other man, this other candidate, her fiance. So long story short, I think this is such a beautiful story. I wish I could tell more details, but it is such a beautiful story because uh, I really love when people overcome their self doubt and just have a chance. Of course, it so happened that in this case, this lady was really happy and excited to hear from her ex fiance, because also with the perspective of a time, she saw that his character, even though he was a little bit on authoritative side, maybe a bit too dominating, but she compared that to the guy who was kind of the opposite, and she hated every second of it. Although she had more power, she was in charge, but she said, it's interesting because I talked to her as well, so I can share from her perspective. She absolutely hated every second of being with a man who was less decisive, less authoritative, because it just wasn't something that she was looking for. So anyway, long story short, I think perspective of time give us really golden perspective on things. So often we get in our feelings, so often we cannot see further, we cannot overcome our own setbacks. We are not only competing with or we are not only dealing with what's going on right now. When you are more mature and you have a second or third chance in love, we all have to remember that before that, every person has a story and their patterns. Some men had never been married, and so they have fear, extreme fear of committed relationship, the one that is official and the one that is supposed to be long lasting, supposed to, they afraid. uh Many men are who never been officially married, for example, they're afraid of official commitment, right? And therefore, also, there could be a bunch of other things, maybe betrayal, maybe what else, maybe just some kind of mistrust. Often it comes from childhood, when maybe your own mother was neglectful, or she was not available, or maybe she was very harsh. There are so many things. And when we meet people, 35 plus, 45 plus, when you have all this baggage, maybe someone is coming out of a loveless marriage, whatever it is very difficult. um, Sometimes it is more challenging to have a new, trustworthy, satisfying, beautiful relationship, because maybe that is what you meet, the person that you were dreaming about, that very person, but because you cannot believe it, you sabotage it on every level possible. On every level you sabotage that relationship. And therefore sometimes you get scared and you run away, and you kind of know you're making a mistake, but your fear is so big that it still happens. And same goes for women. Some women never had a good relationship with, with a father. Sometimes they had very bad wait. Look at this pencil. Oh my goodness, I think the dog had chewed. Very often, it's funny because I don't have a dog. It makes it even funnier. But yeah, so for women, it's often, complex relationship with the dad, or absence of a father, all these things, and, maybe painful relationships, betrayal, cheating, you know, different things, and it's adds up. Very a lot of people becoming defensive, and they are looking for reasons to sabotage the most beautiful relationship, the most unlikely relationship, when you truly connect with somebody. So many people just sabotage that because they never dealt with those bad patterns, fears, and it's always so heartbreaking, when that happens, because to meet a person with who you connect on so many levels, to meet a person that understands you, and you have something more than just physical attraction. That goes especially for those who are dating 45 plus. I'm not saying that physical attraction is not important, it is still very important, but there are all the other things, the way you view the world. If you will look, guys, how passionate I'm about political things, and well, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I can barely hold myself. Imagine being on the same page with a woman, even if she's from another country, or she's your local, but maybe she's another ethnicity, another whatever nationality, maybe she's the same, but you are aligning with your 100% on your views, and you can talk for hours about this. It's such a major uniting factor. You know that you're on the same page. You can be yourself, you can be authentic, you can have amazing debates, because for the long term you need to have more than attraction, more than chemistry, and all those intimate things which are amazing, but they are not enough, especially in your second part of life, when you just really want to have quality. You want to have a woman that will never put you down on public. That she knows etiquette, she has class. No matter what you have going on, she knows how to handle a conflict. You feel when to call her, what to tell her, when to hug her, when instead of the words, when she's in pain, telling her that you love her, you make her feel loved. You just have that connection that is once in a lifetime. And I think in this case, it's definitely worth it to give it another shot, another chance. Uh, a lot of times people say things and do things. We take them way too personally, but they are not really that personal. People dealing with their own setbacks, with their own patterns, with their own traumas, and that's why they react certain way. A lot of time when people after a breakup or when people or both people leave in their relationship, they have major self-esteem. Their self-esteem is taking a deep dive, hitting the floor because we taking things too personally. We truly believe that there is something so deeply wrong with love that maybe we are unlovable. But I think it's just sometimes we collect too much luggage, too much baggage, and it's hard. It makes it harder to move on. And yes, I think the more mature we get, the older we are. If we hadn't dealt with our issues, it's becoming next to impossible to connect with somebody. On the other hand, when we are dealing with our issues and when we mature and we grow, we can look critically not just on the other person but on ourselves. And to be honest, each time you do this, you really truly realize how many things you could have done better, how many things you didn't hold your temper or you were too much too much caught in your feelings. So yeah, I definitely oh wow, this works. I definitely think that there are times when it truly does or is worth it to give it a second chance, but only if there was no betrayal, no hurting, no abuse, physical or emotional, God forbid, that there was no crossing boundaries, because there are certain things that just simply the way of no return. Usually, I'm very much against the second chances, but life is more complex than black and white. And sometimes, when both people had enough of time, they're not under emotions, once again, when both people had enough of time to analyze, maybe even to meet other people, maybe even to sit in silence and, not seeing anybody. But every day your feelings change, and sometimes you analyze that it really is worth it to try to reconnect, and considering all those mistakes, all those experiences to try to build something better. Because in the main, when it comes to main aspects, you're completely aligned. And this is very, you realizing every day that this is very hard to find. Thank you so much, my dear friends. Thank you so much for the comments. I'm going to read them right now. Thank you for being with me and listening to me. I'm really so inspired when I hear stories. And I love when maybe you have been on my channel before, maybe you're now, you have a good story, or maybe not so inspiring story. I love when you're sending me your stories. And so, yes, I'm so excited for the couples that had reconnected, and they really meant to be together. They are expecting also another beautiful little person to come into this world, and like, what a beautiful story. And I know 100%, I so far have never been wrong in my predictions. I always make them in my mind. I know 100% that they are going to be together for a long, long, long time, because it's a very conscious reconnect. It's not emotional. It's something that was meant to be. And I think maybe it's like, I don't know about percentage, how many percent of it, but I think second chances do happen. And if you were lucky enough to get a second chance, don't screw it up the second time. Do it better, do it smarter. A lot of men actually make a mistake when they have a second chance. They kind of half trying because they're thinking, oh, um, maybe, what if it doesn't work? But this is completely wrong. If that is a woman that is worth of your time, worth of your attention, you know that. You don't want to go halfway for that. Um, you want to do everything that depends on you to make it work this time, especially as a man. Men who watch in my channel, I consider them men who are not shy to be leaders in their life, and in Slavic culture especially, we just don't deal with men who don't take charge. We don't take them seriously. We don't take them seriously. Men who do not take charge and blame everybody else. That's not kind of man that um, Slavic women consider, feminine women consider, classy women consider. I think that's why we need men and we respect men for their ability to handle stress, for their ability to handle our emotions, to handle our shenanigans. That's why we love and admire men for their ability to focus when times are difficult. And yes, that's something that many men can do and usually do better. But we shouldn't women should not be blamed for their emotions, because that would makes women beautiful, and that would adds life, love and excitement and passion into your life. Because if women would be exactly like men, uh, that wouldn't be there would be no polarity, no desire, no contrast. A lot of men experience emotions. They have brighter emotions when they have the right woman with them. That's the whole point of this struggle, so to speak. But anyway, let me read some of your comments, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I know I came in late tonight. I was not going to come at all, honestly, because I was a little bit busy with other things. But here we are. Hello, Nico. I don't know. It's oi, 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 oi. I don't know if it's Nico or Nico. I'm sorry. Nico Vest. Good evening, Veronica. Hello, Nico. Hello, Kadir. Nico says press like. Yes, guys. If you enjoy my videos, press like. If you don't enjoy them, press dislike. I don't mind. Go watch something that you like. Hello, Dave. Good to see you. All right. All right, we're not doing this children garden stuff. Kindergarten, I'm sorry. I'm not reading stupid comments, I'm sorry. She should have reached out instead of settling down for another man. No, she shouldn't. We always looking for a man to have initiative. Yeah, this is just our mentality. I would say 10 out of 10 women would not reach out, because we believe that men are initiators, and we believe that if he really wanted, he would. We don't find excuses for men. We think that if we mean or meant something for a man, he would overcome his feelings and he would reach out and open an opportunity to reconnect and rekindle the spirit. Why would you reach out to a man that told you that he wants to end things or he's not sure? Every woman wants to be with a man who is 100% sure, since the man is a driving force. I would never recommend a woman to reach out to a man. Uh, let's see. Hey, international health coach. What's up, girl? I'm now coaching male clients who are legitimate clients of Ukrainian matchmaking agencies. I've been shocked how many men have low emotional intelligence and have no idea how to attract. Yes, yes, I know what you mean. I think this is something, if you think about it, unless you are born with superior intellectual abilities and you are a man who have goals and personal growth is important for you. Also, you understand that seduction is not only for women to seduce men in the most, alluring way, but also man needs to learn how to seduce a woman on every level. Most men think that they're just good the way they are. They don't understand that it takes two to create that polarity and tension, and that you can't be yourself, so to speak, too much. It's you can be yourself as your character, but we all need to put a little of work in us, to frame us, like they work with precious stones, golds and diamonds. They all made under pressure. They all becoming beautiful. We all need to put some effort, and you know it's very, very important, and not just to attract but to continue to be with the person. It applies for men and women too. We can be more pleasant, more polite, less rude. There is so many things, so many things that most people just give up on themselves. So I'm not surprised. Most people give up on themselves, and they wonder why they have no friends, why they have no people that admires them, why nothing happens for them. It's because you have never reached your potential. You have never done things you were supposed to do. So the way you live in your life is not greatly enticing for others. People want amazing things to happen for them, but they don't want to make courageous things. They don't want to change themselves. They don't want to learn things. They don't want to understand people better. They want to blame people for them being unlucky, but they don't want to learn anything. By the way, speaking about this, I want to recommend everyone Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction, and 48 Laws of Power. For men, also 33 Strategies of War. It's an amazing book. You can listen to it. You can do audio. If you're struggling with these things, you need to understand how the world works. And if you always the guys that get stepped on, it means you're doing something wrong. So I am not that surprised that you're sharing this with me. I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I know your name, but I know who you are, but I forgot your name. If you can remind me. And I think I know what agency you're working for. um, I hope it's going well for you. Why people are hard work in looking so smart, and why time spent on this evening? Because they can't resist my charm. That's why. Uh, big thank you, sister. You're very big welcome. Hi, I can't stay up near you on my way home. Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Do what you have to do, Jason. Hello. I think everyone do gives that respect and life support. Okay. All right, let me read some more comments. How you doing, beautiful? I am doing amazing. I'm warm and cozy. I am warm and cozy. Men must take extreme ownership of everything in their life, regardless of the circumstances, both physical and emotional. Yes, absolutely. I agree. She didn't lose any respect for him. She was very excited that he reached out. She was very excited that he reached out to her. You look gorgeous tonight, Veronica. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Fear God, not any human being, especially women. Well, you can fear women too sometimes. Oh my gosh. Um, Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it. She would rather settle than reach out. Um, Guys, you don't understand. I'm gonna say this again. As women, we do not take initiative to reach out to men. I don't know how many times I need to repeat this. I would rather die than reach out to a man. Don't ask me why. If you feel certain way about a woman, you can't forget her, it's on you to reach out to her, and not with, hey, what's up, or hey, was thinking about you. Like, not with this nonsense low effort bullshit, but just a very short, very strong message to get into, not texting, but a phone call, a video chat, just asking if you could have a minute. And if you have that minute, use it with power. We will never reach out. Remember, the more authentic woman is, the less of chance of her reaching out. We are raised this way. There is nothing we can do. We only work with men initiative. When we don't chase men, I don't know how else to say it. When we have conception now, or 500 years ago, or a million years ago, it's the sperms that chase the egg, period. There is never in history, if you're talking about physical, the egg came out and start chasing the sperm. No, it doesn't work this way. It's a biology, it's a psychology, it's the way things work. The woman can create a positive atmosphere for a man to reach out. She can have softness about her, that when he maybe feel more comfortable to reach out, she can welcome or deny. But we are not reaching out to men. I'm sorry. This is just this is just how it is. And she was not trying to settle. She had a goal. She really wanted to have a child. She wanted to have family. And that man, she was trying to make it work, but she she realized that he wasn't her type. I don't know if she would be with him or not. I don't think she would be with him. I think she would break up with him anyway, because he was too soft, too submissive, too weird, dependent on his mother. I think that kind of put a nail in the coffin right there. Really, it's fun to flirt, playfully tease, attract, and keep a woman. Yes, it's true. But they broke up. When a man tells you that he is not interested in you, you're not calling him to ask how is he doing and if he's interested by any chance right now. We don't do that. I don't think that he told you, oh, I'm not interested in you, but he was the initiator, because he is the one that organized everything, took care of everything. So, and he is the one that was supposed to make a step. Instead of making a step and claiming her, officially making her his, he bailed. He freaked out. I don't know how else to say it. He had bad experience in his previous marriage, and things came into his mind. He was afraid. You guys know better than me that you do afraid of women, especially those women that you maybe hadn't healed from the previous relationship, and maybe you feel like she her personality is larger than life, or she's maybe sometimes you add more things to make you look scarier. You're afraid of your so-called freedom or whatever. He freaked out. So if it was, man takes initiative, man takes final decision in this case. So you telling me that she was supposed to reach out to him when he told her he will not claim her? I don't know exactly what words he said, but basically he broke it off. Hell no. If you are one of those men who hoping the woman you were not sure about, or you let her down, you didn't claim, if you think she's going to reach out to you, I wish you the very best of luck. It may take a moment. It may take some time. Yeah, like half a century. You may be very old. Um, fun, flirt and fun. It is. It is really amazing. I think it's a beautiful language, and I think the more you know a man or a woman, the more you need to flirt. I think that flirting is such a beautiful art, and people forget to flirt when they start living together. But I think this is one of the most enticing things a couple can do, before, after, and meanwhile. But when somebody literally told you that they don't want to be with you anymore, absolutely not. You just given. I mean, if this man would not reach out, she would eventually meet somebody else who would not have doubts. But he did reach out. Actually, there are some statements you made that made me think. All right, well, tell me what they are. I would love to know. Robert Greene is an awesome writer and researcher. And No More Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, I read that book actually. It's been a while. It's a great book. Yeah, I highly recommend to men who maybe struggle with some things and kind of people pleasing. Please read that book. No More Mr. Nice Guy. It's a great book. I'm gonna tell you, as a woman, we hate people pleasing men. It's you think that you are being nice, but you're ruining everyone life and everyone's life and yours. It's a great book. Listen to audio. If you're not a reader, listen to audio. It's phenomenal. And Robert Greene is phenomenal. Phenomenal, phenomenal. He's a legend, and he's my dream to I dream to come to his meeting and just listen to him live. He's one of my favorite authors, probably my favorite from the modern ones. I love everything about his teachings, and I love how he make very difficult concept simple. I love the depths. I love the authenticity, and yeah, I admire him a lot. Well, he's a master, top of the top. Uh, should a man ever apologize for how he fell short or mistakes that he made? Of course, of course. Especially if he feels that way. You can mend a lot of things when you have the strength and the courage to admit certain things that you fell short on, and you it means so much. It gives a woman a perspective that this guy analyzes. He's having empathy. He is also capable of admitting things. He's a leader, because everyone can make a mistake, even the smartest person on the planet Earth. But admitting and learning, that is very, very important. And man, I think it's a pivotal moment when when that happens, when you genuinely, not because you people please, not because you don't really feel this way, but you want to apologize, and you probably will do that very thing again. No, when you apologize from your heart, you realize you screwed up, you messed up, you realize that deeply, then it makes a lot of sense. Feminine traditional cultures require man to go and conquer her. Yes, you have nothing to lose. Exactly. Veronica is 100% correct. The best women take care of themselves and drop soft hints and smiles. Yes, exactly. When you are in a communication, if the woman is open for you, she will flirt, she will give you soft hints. Yes, absolutely. She won't be chasing you. She absolutely won't be chasing you. I came in 15 minutes late and missed the whole story. Okay, that happens. A man must go and claim his woman. Yes, guys, a lot of times women leave you or lose interest because you don't take decisions on time. We have our things to do, and you also have to understand that a woman have the difference between man and a woman. A woman can change her life in a blink of an eye. Man has to go, career, do all these difficult things in order to become someone. A woman, just by her birthright, by her charm and femininity, and her ability to reproduce, and her ability to bring love and joy, he can be heartbroken today because a man mistreated her, a man who did not appreciate her, and the next day, I mean, not literally, but she might meet a man that would give her literally the whole world, that would put everything to her feet. He will want her to be in his life. He knows that she's deserving of everything because she is an answer to what he wants. You know, it's a question of luck. It may happen tomorrow, it may happen later, but women have this unique ability and possibility to change their life at 180, to be that's why self-esteem is so important for a woman, because we take things more personally, and sometimes when a man breaks our heart, so to speak, we just we just can't handle it, and we just get into too much dwelling and too much pain. When a woman can, just without changing anything, can meet another man that will see that she is a treasure, that she has a power uh, to change his life, to bring an incredible impact on his life, and of course she's having the power to literally clone him, to give him the biggest gift of all, to make another one of him. And if he has his life in order, he's not gonna miss out on that chance. You know, that saying, one man's treasure, another man's treasure. So you have to realize that, you know, so often you don't get another chance. Somebody you didn't see value in got lucky, and another man saw it, and you lost it forever. A woman does not need to you know, go. This is a problem with Western feminist women. They think that in order to be valuable, they need career, they need to study and work and get the I am all about education, I'm all about drive, I'm all about entrepreneurship and business and interesting things and exploring and blah blah blah. But for a woman to be chosen, she only needs to be herself, she only needs to shine, she only needs to be you know, useful and beautiful. If it's for people who create their first relationship, right, their first fresh start in life, that's all she needs to do. She literally could be just turning 18 years old and meeting a man that could give you the world. She doesn't have to go and work for 20 years to build career to get respect. I mean, I'm not saying everybody gonna do it and that's how you should do it, but it's definitely a possibility, you know? It's definitely a possibility. And me personally, I think that is most amazing thing, when a woman taps into her talents, taps in her abilities, when she creates her own world, and you know, whatever her talents are. But at the same time, she's absolutely not denying her magnetism, her femininity, her ability to nurture, and she considers all the opportunities that come her way. She does not deny a man who can protect her and give her beautiful things. She does not deny it and tell him, like here in the West, oh no, no, I'm not ready, I have to put 20 years in the career and then have to have my eggs to be frozen so I can have a child. A smart woman, she always develop herself, she always she has her own personality, she has her own talents, but she's not afraid to, or she recognizes that she's valuable. Yes, she can grow, she can develop, she can learn skills, but she does not need to prove anything to anybody, as long as she just stays with her natural gifts and talents. That is a major difference that most people do not understand between men and women. So men, if you were so lucky to meet a woman of your dreams, you know, to meet a woman, well, answer to your prayers, shall I say, you were so lucky to cross a path. You know that pain of regret when you missed it, you know that. And in the stories that I shared, it so happened that that lady did not move on, but she could have already been married to somebody else. So chances are not always, you don't always have a second chance. And once again, for a woman, life, her life may just, in the blink of an eye, she's in a different country with a different man. So consider that. Terry, hello, hello, my beautiful friend. Good to see you.
Sure
Terry,
thing.
I said Terry, not another. Hello, Veronica. I was taught the same way. I was not taught to chase or fight for the affection, attention of men. Exactly. That's so against nature, against spirituality, against faith. In the Bible, it tells that the man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. Yes. No, the other way around. Yes, exactly, exactly. Uh, well, if he dumped her, that's a different situation, so she shouldn't reach out. Well, it's a very rude word. Usually, when people disconnect, it's not like a teenager, so I dumped her. It's a I don't think it was quite like that. I think people experience disconnect, experiencing some issues, and in the end he took a decision to not take it step further. So if you want to call it dump her, I guess. mm. No More Mr. Nice Guy is available on YouTube as a free audiobook. Yeah, yes, exactly. And so is, Robert Greene books are also available. I am the man who has a Moldovan fiance. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. Yes, how's that going? I hope things are going well for you. Nike West, she had let men go because she was caught up in the feminist way of thinking, which I broke down those walls. The feminist way of thinking is always based on trauma. Even in Slavic cultures, in traditional cultures, a lot of women starting to go some women start to get on this path of feminist thinking means getting too independent, too fearful, and there are many reasons for it. Usually, that they had men who let them down, whether it's their father or their first husband or their first love. Usually, somebody doesn't show up and they take care of things. So it doesn't mean that that woman does not want a man. It just means that it's gonna take a little bit longer to create the trust, versus like, okay, I guess I can't let my guards down with this man you know Healthy boundaries and lead her with fun flirty adventures, I guess. However, she wants me to take total control as in making certain decisions, or to see how I help her, um, and practically make decisions for her. At least that is how I see it. It's very true. You should reach out to me, Nico. You should reach out to me, share more things to my email or Instagram. I'm sure you have my email. Mm, you should share with me your, if you want to, if you want my perspective, you can share it, because I sometimes don't feel too comfortable uh, to make statements when I don't really know the whole story. But you are probably very correct. She absolutely wants you to take control and take decisions, because what is the point of having a man in your life and also troubles that come with it when he's not taking a leading role? The whole point of it, whether you want it or not, is take that heavy thing on your shoulders and exhale, relieve yourself. I told you this before, that women have major decision and responsibility fatigue. That is most beautiful things in a relationship, even more important than other aspects. Is that when you're with a man that's capable of taking decisions, it's just like, oh my gosh, if you think she was beautiful, when she has a man that takes decisions for her and helps and supports, you're not gonna recognize her. It's like you're taking stone from her shoulders. Of course, if she sees you as a man in her life, of course, she trusts you to take decisions and make them for her. Yes, I'm sure you are not wrong. Good evening, lady, looking glamorous. Well, thank you. Thank you, Boss Smooth. Thank you. Yes, we are glamorous on this channel. With reason or without. Thank you. I appreciate it. International. Okay, can you remind me your name, please? So I don't say international dating coach. A real man desires his woman to rest in his masculine. What? A real man desires his woman to rest in his masculinity and her to embrace her femininity? Yes, well, naturally, yeah, I guess. Hello, Brazil, my dream country to visit. All right. All right, we're not answering personal questions today or tomorrow. My ex-girlfriend tried to kill me a couple of times. Oh, wow. That's not good. Made me lost 3 jobs and 5 houses. Oh, wow. I've heard she made black magic to keep me loving her after I found out I dumped her. Well, you didn't have to wait to find out about the black magic, you know. If at least one of those things you mentioned is true, that's a reason to call it a day, you know. Yeah, okay. Well, we're not talking politics today either. I might open one day channel when we're gonna talk about political things, but I think mixing things up in one channel is not a good idea. Sometimes I can't help it, yes. I've literally turned homeless to stay by her side, wandering on the streets because she wanted to. She used so much drugs and alcohol. Oh my gosh, what a story. You should write a book. You should write a book. I'm sure all of that is absolute truth. I want to. Wait a second. Did somebody just cash up me? I wanna. Okay, guys, I wanna read the message. David, thank you so much for the. I think your name is Sean, right? Just 1 second, guys. I need to read my cash app message. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, David. And David is saying Veronica, glamorous as ever. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you enjoying the stream. Thank you. Sorry, I'm still on the bad side of YouTube. I know you like sending the chats, but I have to wait a little bit. Um, I listed my name above. I'm sorry, guys. I'm itching all the fur. Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much for supporting me. It really means a lot to me. It's not that I will die without the super chats, but it just really does show me that you enjoying my content, and it really does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. I've got 1,000 stories. I hear you. So am I. I don't see your name. I don't know why. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I'm going to write a book. Yes, that's a good idea. Write a book, make a lot of money. Why not? That's one way to make revenge, to have a happy life and successful products, right? Okay, Jason is not here. None of my mods are here, but that's okay. That's okay. If you want to find some information about me, how to contact me and so on, you can look in about section of my channel, and also you can look in the description or under the video. So I will post some information if you would like to see that. Yes, my dear friend. So I don't know. I might live this life for like 24 hours and then maybe put it on my Patreon. I don't know. Thank you for those of you who are there. I appreciate it. Man, some of you know that I have another business. I have my glamour shop. Um, so I have this one client. Um, she ordered something. It wasn't quite. It was an accessory. Wasn't fur. It was a watch, and she really finds something wrong with the watch. She sent it back, and I made the refund. Uh, I refund everything, total full refund. And then now she's writing me that I owe her, let's see, $7.24 because she had shipped the item back. Man, you know what? No, let's see, $7.24 because she had shipped the item back. Guys, pettiness has its limits. This. I don't care. I'm gonna find a way to send it to her, but there's some such weird things about the person. I cannot even tell you how weird and how how petty that is. One of the reasons why Slavic women and in Slavic cultures generosity is so important. When the man is generous, when you are generous with one thing, usually you are generous with all. You're generous with your heart, with your time, with your with your effort, um, with your finance. You cannot be greedy financially, not wanting to treat your lady and be the most generous, kind guy. When you are generous, you are generous with everything. You're generous with your care. You are empathetic. You're open. You are loving. You are generous lover, I guess. Yes, when you are, well, yeah, well, you it means that you care emotionally, physically, financially. You generally not just generous in one way. You are a generous, open person, very that has this mindset of abundance. That you are not petty. You're not trying to penny pinch. Man, she's sending me the second message of how I'm gonna send you. I'm sure she's an older lady because she also writes in all caps. I'm glad to. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send her $10, and I'm sure she'll never forget that, and she will be just come on now. I ask her if she has Cashapp or PayPal because I can't. When you have a business, for example, somebody made a purchase, you can't return them more money than the purchase was. So I can't. I physically cannot do that. Yeah, generally I don't judge women. I mean, I don't expect women to spend money on men. But if somebody reaching out to you and they want $7, just so you understand, the watch was not super expensive, but it was a couple $100. So if some if somebody reaching out to you for $7.34, it's a serious problem. I just cannot. I don't know. I will see. Abundance mindset. You send Hitvani. I don't feel like saying Hitvani because she's not. I don't feel that. I just want to send her just a little bit over what she sent me. So she will be. If I would know who she was, I think it's an older lady. I have to disappoint you because she doesn't know how to use technology. So I think she's an older lady. I don't know how I feel. We'll see. But I'm definitely not gonna send you seven. I'm not gonna send you $7.34. Yeah, we'll see. They say that you can't make somebody love you, fall in love with you. You can only inspire. She doesn't inspire me to make like a real nice gesture, But I'm definitely gonna round up the cents at least. In our culture, in Slavic culture, if like for example, if you hire somebody, they make some kind of um, service for you or goods. If you asking for the cents, if you not leaving like at least like a small tip or a decent tip, and you asking for the cents, you done. I want to tell you a short story. When I was in college, I remember going out on a date with this Italian guy. Yeah, he was. I liked him. He seemed to be a nice person, but I don't know how many of you been downtown Kiev. I was. It was a beautiful, beautiful Italian restaurant near Dnipro Hotel, and so I was like 19 years old maybe, and this guy, he was how old he was in his 30s. I always liked, when I was that young especially, I liked men who are older and more mature. Could never imagine going out with a 19-year-old, if I think I was 19 or 20. But anyway, I looked a bit more mature than then. I was kind of, you know a serious lady, so to speak. Anyway, we are going to this restaurant, having a wonderful dinner, beautiful overview of Kiev, beautiful restaurant. Restaurants there are incredible. We're just having a good time, just enjoying each other's company. Guess what happened next? I don't know. I haven't been to Italy. I don't know what their stands on tips. So when he's getting a bill, there was an uneven number, like uneven number with a change. I don't think it was a high level restaurant, like upscale restaurant. I don't think any waiter there even saw how change looks like, because it's such high class, high end restaurant. Long story short, he started pulling out change out of his pockets. I don't know, maybe in Italy the gratitude included in the bill or not. Do I have the need to say that I could never step into that restaurant ever again? And the thing is, he wasn't a greedy guy. He was not. I don't know. I don't know what had happened, but I was ready. I was so embarrassed. I was ready to disappear. Like, I wish that the floor would have a hole and I can fall into that hole and nobody ever sees me again. But this thing is, I could never go to that restaurant again, because also, I had a particular style that was really easily recognizable. I just could not bear the embarrassment. He was so serious when he was like counting the change. I lost the ability to speak, so I couldn't say anything. Yeah. And then, another time, it was not that long ago. uh, well, it was a while ago, I would say. I had a candidate, and that I was considering, a while ago, and we went out to this really nice restaurant at the beach, beautiful, um, you know, Florida sunset. Everything is so beautiful, and wonderful time, wonderful dinner. And then with a corner of my eye, I saw that this man dared to leave $5 as a tip. $5. I was so hurt by that because I felt so terrible. I know that in United States how business works, how restaurants are working, that they are solely relying on the tips, and especially in a high-end restaurant. I was thinking to myself, if you can't afford taking me there, it's okay. We can go to some simple place. I don't care. I don't care. But when I saw that this man that was promising me the sky and the moon, I saw the corner of my eye. I don't know, I usually don't look, but somehow I have very good vision. And I saw those, he left $5. I was devastated to see that. I felt so hurt for the waiter. He was excellent. And unfortunately, I did not have a dollar on me. I used to carry cash with me, but living in America, sometimes I'm like an American. I don't have cash. I try to, but that particular night I didn't have any cash on me. If I would have a decent amount, I think the tip should have been at least 30, um or $40. I don't know. It should have been a higher tip for his effort. And Guys, I cannot tell you how devastated I was. I was so upset for the waiter. I just feel it's how can you help me to find a word? Not abuse, but how do you say this? I was so disappointed, so deeply disappointed, and I knew I could never be with a man who would put on a show of generosity, try to impress me, but because, but behind the scenes, cut somebody short, somebody who probably has a family, who is working in a place, counting on those tips, doing a beautiful job. I could never, I was, I would borrow money to pay somebody who just gave me service, you know? I don't know. It was so disappointing. I said candidate because in Slavic culture, we very often don't date. We have men who court us and then we choose a man. So that's why I said candidate because he was a candidate. Unsuccessful one, but he was a candidate. A suitor candidate. I don't know how you call that. Not the man that I would consider to be any closer with after that. That's why he remained the candidate. Yeah, and it's so interesting because when man stands in his power, he does not put on a show. He has the confidence to be himself. You don't have to show me expensive things, try to buy me expensive things, or try to take me to a fancy place. But behind the scene, you cut corners and you give $5 in a high end restaurant where the bill is at least $200 or 200 something. This is not being any. I mean, that's just embarrassing. I would much rather respect a man who would take me to a lot more simple place and we have a great time, but he doesn't embarrass me like that. Yeah. Cheap for a man being cheap is the same as being ugly and repulsive. There is nothing that can mend that. Because he did this when I wasn't watching. You know, if I talk about anything personal, I usually talk about something from the past. I don't really, this channel is not really about my life, but sometimes, you know, there are examples. And I'm telling you, man, for men, it's so important to not try to put on a show because the woman will, believe it or not, we could work for FBI. We know and see everything. So don't do that. Yeah, and now I have another memory of another man that it was even, I don't know if it was worse or not, but also, you know, not my man. So if that was my fiance or my husband, I would say that it's just candidate. So somebody to be considered. But he also remained a candidate because we we went to the store pick up something to play tennis or something very very simple. Just needed to pick up a simple thing, and the store owner asked like, "What are you looking for?" And he said, "You know, I forgot these things for tennis. They're like tennis balls, whatever." And he was like, he whispered into his ears and he said like the cheapest ones. You know, I don't know, I have eyes and ears. I know it's annoying, but I have eyes and ears everywhere. And I was like, the cheapest ones, those are tennis balls. They're like what, $10? And again, this was another man that was reassuring the love forever and you know, the sky and the stars. The list goes on. So I think when we showing up in life in inauthentic ways, nothing works. You cannot tell stories and then in action you show yourself as a total. I don't know. I cannot. You know, a lot of women overlook these things or men overlook things about women, but what people do when nobody's watching is really a definition of who they are. Same as if you meet a woman and she's so nice and blah blah blah, but she's mean to a waiter, or she's mean to a custodian who is cleaning, or she's mean to, I don't know, when you're not watching, she's mean to the staff. This is not, I mean, we all have bad days, okay? We all have bad days when we snap, okay? I'm first to admit that. But when she's mean to children, when she's, if you turn your head, she's like that, you can't overlook this because that's a true reality. I'm not again saying when you have a bad day or when you have $5 left in your pocket as a man, life happens. Sometimes you lose everything. But when you tell a woman that you will take the stars and the sky and do everything for her, and on the same breath you buy, I forgot how you call those things for the tennis. You know, you buying those things and like you ask for the cheapest ones. You should get the cheapest ones in everything. You know, you should not get something or somebody that is not according to this description. $20 tip by default. Yes, I agree. Hello, Adam. I agree. $20 is, I mean, not $20. 20% is a good normal tip in US. Yes. I remember when I visited Europe after US, and when I was going out by myself, I would leave these tips. People would look at me like I was crazy. But I think, I don't know, it makes me happy. You know, if I am the one, you know, if I am uh traveling or doing something or just going out or getting coffee or something, I always try to leave a tip. Because how can you not just show very simple, if you can't afford something, you don't have to go there. That's all. A person who is working there, they are working, they're not just spending time. Anyway, conversation that is the most important. When I was first getting to know my fiance, she would have to go to the bathroom while we were talking. Bathroom is a euphemism for the bedroom. I'm not sure I understood. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I'm tired now, so I'm not sure. Could you explain me what you mean? I'm not sure I understood you. Hi, Adam. Yeah, so $20. Yeah, 20% in US is just normal. I saw that USA was the only country they expected tips. No, in Ukraine we don't have like a number. Maybe we do now, or but in Ukraine usually you leave tips. Not as big as here, but sometimes you leave tips unproportional. You know, sometimes if I had a great time, but I only wanted coffee, let's say it was just me, or I'm with a girlfriend, you know, when if I'm covering and I want to, I can leave very unproportional tip because I want it so. Or let's say I'm at the restaurant. If I'm by myself or I'm with a girlfriend, let's say I don't have 10 drinks. I only have one drink. I don't drink a lot. Or I only want this salad. I would usually leave I often leave unproportional tip just because I didn't order a lot, but I enjoyed it. It was a great service. I'm gonna leave something. It's because I want it. But you know, usually I'm on the receiving end. Usually I don't remember one last time I paid for dinner, but if I was, I could not imagine paying giving $5. Oh my god, I would lose my conscience if you know, especially when you're in a nice place. I don't know, just would feel such a level of embarrassment that I just would imagine how the waiter would feel. The person that, you know, in at high end places, it's not just the waiter, it's a person that talks well, makes you feel special, make trying to do give you a pleasant conversation, trying to serve you so you have a most beautiful time. I cannot imagine how this person would feel. They may take it personally. It just I can't. So yeah, candidate remain a candidate. Women are not that complicated in general. Women are only complicated when they don't respect you. This is where they're complicated. Somebody says, I'm so glad it's still a first season. But for me, it's always the first season. Hello. That is when you know you have game. I don't know what you were commenting on. I'm sorry, I didn't understood one. Oh, wow. Some 18 plus information here. Wow. That's interesting. That is interesting. Well, maybe you should open your own channel so you'll tell everybody how to do that, Nico. I have a date for the Exit Festival in Novi Sad, Serbia. High quality Ukrainian lady. She doesn't know it yet. I'm going to surprise her. Going to be a fun summer. Yeah, good idea. Just make sure someone else did not surprise her before, or is not going to surprise her at the same time. Good for you. All right, guys. All right, guys. I have to get going. Thank you. I mean, not get going. Get resting. It was a time when about this time I would be getting going. In my college years, I would be leaving the house about 10:30 p.m. I can imagine doing it now. Well, we had a lot of places to go. So many live music, Caribbean club, all kinds of clubs. I used to dance a lot, a lot. That was my favorite thing in the world is to go out dancing, do different music, different. It had so many friends. I mean, not real friends, but connections. It was so much fun. I'm glad I did it then. Um, I tip too much for my drinks. I cook on my own food, but I always leave $2 on the bar after buying a drink. Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes, when you have a servant or a person that really lifts you up, that make your day amazing, just why not be generous? It always comes back to you. When you are generous, when you are lighting up, someone's making something for somebody, it always comes back to you. Good night, gorgeous. Good night, good night, good night. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just a little talk to you. You made my night. You have such elegance. Thank you so much. And welcome. If you're new, welcome. Good night, Tina Natalia. Oh, wow. I have a lady watching me. That's nice. Welcome, Tina. And good night. Good night. Good night, everybody. And I'm still here. Actually, Eastern European women love intelligence. Yes, very true. I think that is what is turning you on. Well, you must be out of this world intelligent. That's pretty impressive. I've never heard that before, but there is always something to learn, I guess. I guess. Anyway, my dear friend, this is so weird because I don't have any of my mods, but if you enjoy my channel, if you're new here, uh, feel free to subscribe. One of the best things you can do is share the video. It's gonna be up for at least 24 hours, at least, right? And then what else? If you want to support my channel, you can find information in the description of the video. You can write a comment, share, subscribe if you enjoy it. If you're not, I hope you find what you like. Um, sapiosexual. Oh, okay, yeah, I don't really like this all those names. I think some people, yes, they connect through intelligence, emotional intelligence, and intellect. That is true, but I think we have too many definitions. With that being said, have a beautiful night, everybody. Thank you for joining, and I hope I will see you soon on my next one. Thank you, and good night. Good night, guys.